So when I say street photography without faces or facial expressions in it, I'm talking about images that still tell a story and have a sense of identity to them, even though there's not a recognizable face in the composition. With images like this, we're trying to create a sense of mystery, intrigue, ambiguity, without necessarily showing somebody's face. So without further ado, here's the first image that I wanted to talk about. I captured this photo at an Apple festival in North Carolina just a few weeks ago. It was kind of a lucky catch in that I was walking quickly and I kind of shot it without even really checking the composure or the settings or anything, just because I saw this woman about to take a bite and I didn't want to miss the moment. Luckily it was harsh midday sun, so I was using a super high shutter speed already, and it wasn't super challenging to get the image in focus. But what I like about this photo is that it manages to be still kind of visceral in the way that a lot of street photography is, and it puts the viewer right beside the woman at this festival. What you'll notice though is that there's definitely no clear identity about this person. This is just kind of a silhouette. It's almost a silhouette at least, in that you can still tell what the person's doing. Her hair is sharp, her glasses are sharp, but you're not necessarily able to identify this person. Now I know a lot of you are probably gonna be thinking to yourself, this is just a street photo, like what are you talking about? And we'll get into some other ones that are probably a little bit more contentious in a minute, but I just wanted to use this as an example because I feel like this one illustrates the point I'm trying to make really, really well. And basically, when you look at this photo, maybe this person I photographed, she has this whole backstory, this whole life. Her name is Susan. She's got 3 children and a husband who likes to fish in his free time, right? But because I shot this at a low angle with her face kind of obscured and off to the side, your brain isn't focused on, the shape of her eyes, the size of her nose, her facial features, recognizing this person. Instead, she kind of is transformed into just woman at festival eating funnel cake. And what I like about this concept of, reducing a living, breathing human being to just an object in a composition that tells a story is that you're able to kind of help the viewer relate to this person more easily. I think that photos like this, where you're less focused on the facial expression in it, are more easy to identify with. Maybe this image reminds you of, being smaller, being younger, because you're kind of looking up at this person. Maybe it reminds you of a specific memory with family, or even a time that you yourself went to a festival. I think it's easier to put yourself in the shoes of the subjects in the composition if there's not a recognizable face. Of course, the obvious side effect of this is that many photos like this one require more than just a passing glance, more than just a fleeting, scroll on Instagram. This isn't your classic Instagram banger that's probably gonna go viral. But before this turns into a 20-minute video, let's look at some more examples. This image is one of my favorites that I took in Boston. This was just a couple of months ago at a train station near the convention center in the Seaport District, which is kind of the newer, more businessy section of Boston. In this one, I think there's a potential for the viewer to kind of identify with the woman walking through the doorway, in the sense that it might spark a memory for you of rushing to catch a train, or just using public transit, or exploring a new city for the first time. But I think that there is more of a layer of separation to this photo than in the last one. Instead of being right near the subject, looking up at this person super close, you're looking down, and you have this kind of vantage point into this woman's life. She's very much unaware that you're seeing her. She's not going to be aware of your presence, and it feels very disconnected. You don't feel like you're right there with the subject. This, I think, means that you're more likely to think about the story behind this woman's actions than to find similarities within your own experiences to kind of attach to this composition, like in the last one. And let me know what you think about these examples. I'm really curious to hear if you agree, if you think that they aren't strong images because they don't have a facial expression. I'm just really curious to hear anything that you have to say about the examples and what I have to say about them. And last but not least is this image I captured in my current home base. This is in Asheville, North Carolina. In this particular example, I like to think that the viewer is a bit frustrated by the image. The timing of the photo and the fact that the man in light gray looked at the camera at just the right time creates this itch. At least for me, to want to see his face, to want to try to recognize this man. It's almost a bit annoying that you can't make out his expression. It kind of feels like this, piece of tape on the dirty bus stop glass was put there intentionally. It almost has this kind of censorship vibe where it's like perfectly obscuring his face. And then I really like the pattern, you know, that gets repeated throughout the image. The woman in red is looking away and then, you know, also sort of blocking the person behind her. So it's this group of people behind this textured, dirty bus stop. None of them are recognizable, yet one is looking directly into the camera. I think in this example, if nothing else, the image is more powerful because there are no facial expressions, and the composition sort of makes you wish you were there, makes you wish that you could see who these people were. Again, at least that's my interpretation. There's no way to really verify it, so I'm super curious to hear what you guys think about this. All right, there's like hardcore landscaping happening outside, so I'm gonna try to finish this out strong, but if you hear crazy background noise, that is what it is. So to close this out, I just wanted to say there are a number of benefits to street photographs without faces, at least in my opinion. I really like creating compositions that are more mysterious, that are more ambiguous and allow the viewer to kind of identify more with the subject in the composition. And there are also a number of benefits beyond just the final composition too that I wanted to point out. For shy or introverted photographers who want to get in the street or who are, you know, really nervous about photographing people, this is the perfect way to go about it. Again, try to do something a little bit more than just taking photos of people's backs as they're walking. But this is a really good way to not have to like point a camera directly at somebody's face. And lastly, even if you live in a country where street photography is welcomed with open arms and you are the most extroverted person alive, I still think that there's something to be said for just valuing a less confrontational, more respectful version of street photography, even if it's not the only thing you do. Once again, definitely let me know what you think of the examples I put up. I'm really curious to hear if you agree, if you disagree, if you have your own examples, feel free to DM me on Instagram, send your posts to me, whatever that might be. Thank you for all the support lately. It's been really cool to see some of my videos get a number of views and to hear from you guys, get comments and things like that. It really means a lot. I've really been enjoying this platform a lot more than Instagram. It's been feeling so much more worthwhile and rewarding, just in the sense that I get to have such a meaningful interaction that's so much less fleeting than just a like or a follow. So on that note, thanks as always for watching, and I will see you in the next one.